welcome back. Today we are going to be making this little peony flower jar, as well as another cylindrical jar. The peony, what we're going to do is we are going to use this small tongue mica powder in a silk purple. We're going to paint in the accent colors, the accent areas of the flower, and then using a white pigment paste. This is from Baltic Day. I think I got it on Amazon. I'll link it in the description. And we'll do that with a mix of white and a purple to fill both the jar and the lid. For this other jar, we have picked up these, let's see, they say, "Thanks, Mom," little heart with Mom in it. And I think these, what do these gold ones say? Like, best mom ever. So what we're going to do is, using these gold and pink, we're going to use it to make this jar and the lid. That will be done with a pink colored mica powder. I got to pull one out. And then the resin with some glue. So what we will start with first is going to be using the silk purple mica powder. And we're just going to use a paintbrush, and we're going to paint in these upper areas. And it doesn't need to be perfect, because when we pour in the white, it's going to kind of blend in a little bit. So we're really just trying to get the tips to be a little bit of the more solid. And you can see, hopefully I'm keeping it on camera. Because ultimately we just want to have a little bit of a highlight on the edges of the flowers, and you can see we're just going to brush it into those spaces. And it doesn't really even need to be cleaned up after, because we're not worried about any getting outside of the edges or the spaces. That'll just give it a little bit more tint when we pour the white. It has got a lot of little grooves. And if some of them don't get perfect, that's okay too. We just want to make sure we get as many of them as we can. They go all the way out to the edge, so even in the outer part of this flower, there's so a little bit more here to do. All right, let's see, a little bit more here. All right, what we're going to do is we are just going to kind of pat out. You see we got a little bit of it out, so that'll do for that. All right, so what we are going to do now is mix up a little bit of resin. It doesn't take a whole lot. It's a very small jar. And we're going to add this to one of them, and then the white to the other. Then we're going to give it a pour. Be right back with the resin. All right, we are back, and what we've done is we have made some resin, two-part, about 6 ounces, and then we put some in each of these cups, one with the silk purple mica powder and the other with the white pigment paste. And we are going to add a drop of glue to each of them, because we don't want them to essentially blend. So we are going to give it just a drop and a drop. All right. And we're going to just mix it till it thickens up. You can see when you stir it how it starts kind of sticking to the stick. I'm going to let it sit for just a minute while we stir the white one. We'll let some of those bubbles start to rise before we pour it. All right. We want to do a test of putting it in the vacuum pot after it's poured to see if it makes any difference, and this might be a good chance to do that. You can already see the bubbles already rising. So we're going to give the mold a little spritz. And this one we actually put some mica powders in the top, so we won't spray that one. All right. So let's start with the lid. We're going to give it a little bit of white. And then a little bit of the purple. And what I want to do is kind of move it around the outside because it does have a little bit of it has a big lip on it. Then the white. And then the purple. And we're just going to alternate. A little more purple. As we're approaching the top of the lid, all right, there we go. And what we're going to do is we'll just use the end of the paintbrush and just kind of work it under the edge here. You can see there's that lip when we try to get some of that bubbles to come up, and that'll also kind of swirl us a little bit. All right, we're going to let that sit for a moment, and then we're going to pour into our bowl, the bottom part of the jar. Let's sit here for a second. And we started with the white on that one, so let's start with the purple. Or did we start? I don't remember. All right. just hoping we have enough. But we still have a little bit in the main cup if we need to mix some more. I think we're going to need to make a little bit more. Yeah, we're going to need to make a little bit more of both. Fortunately, we still have a little we haven't used, so that's good. All right, let's grab another cup. Actually, we have a little bit more white we can get out of here. All right, so we need to make a little bit more of each. Let me grab a couple cups. All right. So we'll make some more purple. And we're going to need another drop of glue. Put a drop of glue in the white. And we will need another stick. And we're just gonna stir up our white. And we'll stir up the purple. All right, a little bit more white. All right, so we'll let it sit like that. We have our little bear. We can fill up with the rest. And put some purple and then some white and then some purple. And we'll top it off with the purple. All right, we still got a little bit left, so we'll break out our little do the dog mold. That small one might fit. All right, and we'll put the last of the white in there. All right, so we're gonna move that to the side. And with this one, we're gonna give it a little spray. And get myself some more isopropyl alcohol. All right, so while we're getting ready to start on the other jar, let's get these placed in the vacuum pot, and we'll be back in a moment. All right, we are back to start on the second part of today's project, which is going to be this jar mold, and we are going to be using these Mother's Day confetti, as well as a little bit of color, so that we're not just entirely clear. We did a little bit of a measurement to it, and it was about 10 ounces total. And before I forget, rubber gloves. Almost forgot. Do not want that all over my hands. So we are going to pour a total of 10 ounces, 5 of part A, 5 of part B, and then we are going to give it a stir. Maybe stick it in the vacuum pot for a little bit just to get it nice and bubble free as best we can. We will be right back. All right, so we have mixed about 10 ounces of the 2-part resin, stirred it for about 5 minutes, and what we are going to do is we are going to add a little bit of this chameleon mica powder. We don't want a whole lot of it in there because I don't want it to be super solid color. I want it to be just a hint of this color to it. So I'm going to put a little bit in there, and we'll give it a stir and just see how much it colors. We just want a tint, but not super, like, still want somewhat transparency because of the pieces that we're going to put in here. And we also want to make sure that it's stirred up nice enough that we don't have any pieces of mica powder sticking inside or visible inside. So I think it'll be clear enough once it pours. A little bit on the side of the cup that I'm using, so I'm going to try to make sure I scrape down the sides nicely. And because we do want these pieces to float, we are going to add a little bit of glue. So we're going to add, it's 10 ounces, so we'll probably do about 5 or 6 big. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, come on, 5, 6. ish. That'll be fine. And now we're just going to give it a stir till it gets nice and thick. I can actually already feel this sort of getting warm, which is good. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to drop these pieces in as we pour. We're not going to mix it directly into the resin, because I think doing that is going to cause, one, it's going to cause some bubbles, and it may cause them to kind of cluster up. So while that's heating, we're going to open up this bag. Like I said, so let's just dump them all out right here and see what we got. There's some gold ones, and then there's some pink ones, if they'd like to come out. So the gold ones say best mom ever, and the other pink ones, they say thanks mom. And then there is a third design, and it's a heart, like a ribbon, that says mom. So what we're going to do, because this is going to be the top, so we're going to make sure we put them in, we're going to put them in upside down and hope that they stay that way. So we're going to pour a little bit of resin in. Okay. And then we're going to put one in like that. We may not have a very good time of this, but let's just give it a shot. We'll put this one over here. I mean, I'm sure they are going to, I'm sure they're going to kind of spin a little bit as they go down, but we'll see if we can. And hopefully on the video you can see that they are starting to, they're sliding down on the sides. So we'll put another gold one over on this side, and it's already spinning. We want to kind of keep it that way. We'll put pink one over here. And then we'll put this other thanks mom over here. And then we will pour a little bit more resin. Yeah, I have a feeling they are not going to necessarily end up how we wanted them, but we'll do our best to keep them sort of how we want them. And then on the lid, we'll put them flat and kind of spread them out so that they're not so I do like that they are sliding down a little bit, which is good. It's just a matter of keeping these pieces how we want them in the end. That was a gold one here. I don't know. Another Thanks Mom over here somewhere, I don't know, like this. I think the color, the chameleon powder is going to look nice in here because I think it's got a nice little bunch of colors that'll won't be so overwhelming. All right, and put another one over here. Push him down a little bit. And a little bit more resin. Give him a push. Get him down in there. Let's see. Trying to kind of see through the side to kind of get an idea of what's in there and where. It's a little hard to see, but there's nothing on this side, so let's put another one of these over here. There we go. Right there. And then we're going to push this guy down. Push that guy down. We still need a little bit more on the top. And what we're going to do on the bottom here is we're going to put a couple flat. And they can overlap, it's okay. And then we'll do the other, where's the Thanks Mom one? All right, we'll put that one here. All right, and then we're going to pour a little bit more here on the cap off the bottom. And then for the lid, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put some in. And then we'll put a couple of these. So we got to do them upside down so that they're facing the right way on the lid. With some, spread them out a little bit. Another stick. All right, and cap it off. I think we have enough. When I measured, it was about 10 ounces, so all right. Oh, a little bit outside. I think we're going to mix up a little tiny bit because I don't think we're quite at the top. So let's real quick grab a small cup and we're going to mix up just a little tiny bit more, and we'll be right back. All right, so we mixed a little bit of 2-part and got it into here. We need to, I see some bubbles on the sides. And then we're going to use our torch lighter to kind of pop some of these bubbles at the top. And I think what we're going to do is using our back, we're going to try to get some of these, work up some of these bubbles. I can see some underneath, and they're going to give us a problem when they, I saw there was somebody who had a tool that you can use to kind of do that, and I think eventually I'd like to, gonna have to invest in something like that. But for now, I think this is getting those bubbles out. And then we'll give it once more over, and we're going to spritz it with the thing. I think I put a little bit too much in this one. It's going to overflow, but that's why we have the silicone mat that we're working on. And then we can just kind of maneuver that a little bit. I see another bubble. All right. Yeah, I think this is going to work out. All right, so what we are going to do is we are going to let this sit for about 24 hours, and then we will be back for our demold and crossing our fingers that everything works out. See you in about 24 hours. All right, we are back to demold the first of two. This is the peony jar. So we'll start with the jar itself and see how it came out. Got a nice marble tone to it. No bubbles on it. Bottom will just get sanded a little bit. And we'll do the lid. Let's put this, pop that back. Let's hope the lid came out. Yeah. So on this one, we did that. We painted the top to see how it came out. And I don't see any bubbles on the top part. It's wonderful. And of course the bottom is just going to get a little sanded. There's a bubble there underneath, but you won't see it when it's on the lid. So, and we'll put it on the lid. That came out really nice. We just got to sand up the, bottom down, the edges, and fix the edge. But then other than that, I think that looks nice. And we'll do our little bear. Oh, almost went flying. Wow, these ones with the big heads, they were so hard to get out of the mold sometimes. We'll clean that off later. But there we go with the bear. The other one still needs a little bit of time. It's a little soft, so we're not going to do it because we'll end up collapsing the mold and maybe messing it up. So we will be back in a little bit to demold the other one. All right, and let's demold the other jar. We'll start with the lid. This is the one where we use these Mother's Day confetti. So we'll start with the lid of the jar. We got a bubble right on the under part and a bit of a dent, but we'll see how that goes. The bubble you're going to see, maybe we can fill it in. You can see the pieces are pretty good. Throw these in there. And let's hope that the jar worked out. See a lot of micro bubbles on the bottom under the lid, and we actually did try to use a tool to kind of get the bubbles out. We'll fix that. A little soft still, but we'll shape it, no problem. Let's see. Looks good. I don't see any major bubbles or anything in the top, and inside looks pretty good too. I don't see any bubbles on the confetti, and all the confetti is right side up so you can read it. A couple of them kind of turned, but I think it's fine. Just kind of mush it. So we're gonna let this sit a little bit. I'll hold it to get it, but it looks good. The bubbles aren't great, don't make me too happy, but overall I think it's a nice attempt. Alright, so thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and if you would like to be notified when other videos are released, hit that subscribe button. Thanks again. See you on the next one.